So hello to whoever is watching this video. So this is my Shiny app for the DKIT Higher Diploma in Data Analytics in the Data Visualization module. So I decided at the very start of the year that I was going to do something to do with F1 data or Formula 1 data, and I found the data sets for loads of different pieces of information about Formula 1 on Kaggle earlier in the year, and I downloaded everything and just put it to one side until I needed it. So I had to do a bit of cleaning of data initially, and then reading through the files and then deciding what I was going to do for my Shiny app. So I decided that I was going to create an app with a leaflet map that would show the locations of every Formula 1 Grand Prix that has taken place from 1950 to 2020. So I started off, I got all my files, I read them, had a look at them to see what was in them. I then started to select the information I needed from the relevant files, and then I started to merge data sets. After I merged data sets, I then selected what I wanted. I had to create a column for the winning driver because it was in two separate columns, their first name and the surname, so I merged the two together in a new column. Then I started looking at names of the drivers, and then I selected my final data set, which was all the data except for the first name and the surname, because I had already got that made into a winning column. And there's a look at the data, so you can see the constructors, the year, the round in the race, whether it was the first race of the season, the second race, and so on. The Grand Prix name, you can see the track where it was held, you can see the location of it, the country, the latitude and longitude, and the winner of the race. Going then into the Shiny app, I started off, I needed the tidyverse because I was using the pipe function, or the pipe command in my data. I ran in my data set, I had a look at it to check that it was okay. I changed the round to a factor because I thought that was creating an issue in my data when I was organising it. Checked for missing data, there was none. Then I installed my packages, so I had to install the leaflet package, which was new. I had Shiny widgets and dashboard just in case I needed them as well. So I created a map first of all to show that I could actually create a map. Then I did my fluid page, I have my title panel with a break, and then I have my output for my map, and then I decided that I'd put a table at the bottom instead of having all the information pop up. I decided for my drop down menu I'd have it on the top right hand side of my chart rather than having a sidebar panel, because I only felt that it necessitated one drop down option instead of having a few. And then I have my server, so I created a new vector called filtered to make my data reactive, and I selected the data that I was going to need, and then I was filtering it by my year, whichever year is inputted into it. Then I have my map output. I've added my markers by latitude and longitude, and when you click on each marker it'll pop up with the Grand Prix name. Underneath it I have a table which has the information, and it'll feature the round, the country, the Grand Prix name, the track name, the winner, and the winning constructor, and it will be arranged in the order of the round, so it goes from round 1 all the way down to round 19 or 20 depending on the year. So the app has been deployed onto Shiny, so it is shinyapps.io. So there is my app. So you can see there for 2020 it was a very different year in Formula 1. Most of the races took place in Europe due to COVID, and if you look down you can see there all the winners, and I can organise it by the round. So we have all the races, 17 races took place. We have the winner, and we have the constructor, we have the track name, we have the Grand Prix name, we have the country it took place in, and the round number. You can click on anything on the map and you can see that the Portuguese Grand Prix, you have the 70th anniversary Grand Prix because there's two in Silverstone that year, you have the Hungarian Grand Prix, you have the Turkish Grand Prix, you have the Sakir Grand Prix, and so on. And you can filter down through it. So we can look down at 2017, we can see it was a very different story because we had more races around the world. And then you can scroll down, and again we can see all the results for who won what and who was the winning constructor at each race. If you're interested in the history side of things, which is something that I really like, go back to the 90s there. We can see again Europe, majority of races in Europe, one in Canada, nothing in America. We had 2 races in Japan that year. And we can go down again and we can see many different names, many different constructors. We can see that as the Benetton era with Michael Schumacher. Just I thought it was quite cool to make it, and I've an interest in Formula One, so I liked the fact that I was doing something about something that I actually am quite interested in as well. So that there is a brief summary of it. The app does work. I would have liked to have made a few things better. The one thing that I really wanted to do was to get more information to pop up on the markers, and I couldn't figure that out, so I opted for the next best thing, which was the table on the bottom, and hopefully that'll be sufficient. If I had time, possibly I could have made another tab and included something about drivers and the countries they're from, possibly on another map. There was a load of options. It was just about trying not to go overboard, but not go underboard as well. I did opt not to put in images because I felt there was a lot of information there already. I probably could have done it, but I chose not to. Hopefully it was the right call, because I think visually it looks a bit better. So that there is my Shiny app, and thank you for listening.